Check this out, bro. You know what we're here for. We not playing no games. Get it out. Man, y'all must got me confused with somebody else, man. I got these few $100 in my pocket, man. That's all I got. I don't got nothing, man. Okay, you want to play superhero. You want to play hard. Hey, plug that motherfucking arm up, man. We're going to see how tough he is. Plug that arm up. I gave y'all everything, man. I don't got nothing else, man. I don't got nothing. Say this is all you got. We know you got more than this. Matter of fact, bro, hang your son over at Bannister by his ankles. Hang him by his ankles. If I tell you drop him, drop his little ass. Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. You know, oftentimes that street life that, you know, a lot of people praise so much and they feel it gives you a badge of honor, if you will. Man, it's two roads that it's going to lead to. You got the penitentiary and you got the early grave. And even if you get out of the street life, guess what? The things that you've previously done, people still, they don't forget that. So no, you may not, you know, be doing the things that you used to do, but people will remember the things that you've done to them. Perfect example. I'll give you all a story today about a dude named Quis. Nice lengthy story, so go on and kick back. If you don't like long stories, this is probably not the story for you. Quis was from, I want to say Quis was from West Virginia, I believe. And he would come down to Kentucky quite frequently because Quis used to be a hooper. He was about 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", and he was real good in basketball. So he had ended up getting a scholarship to a school in Kentucky, and he just ended up staying in Kentucky. He didn't go to the University of Kentucky, but he just went to one of the smaller schools in Kentucky. So, you know, over the years, he would maintain a residence in Kentucky, and he would maintain a residence in West Virginia. Kind of went back and forth, you know. One particular night, Quis decided to step out, you know, to the club. Now, it's odd because Quis typically, he didn't really go out. He wasn't really a club type of guy. He was more so on he's in West Virginia. He'd come down here, handle his business, stay for a couple of days, and go back to West Virginia. So you say, well, what's handling his business, Kens? Quis was in the streets. And, you know, he was doing his thing, man. He was a dealer. But he wasn't the type that was literally in the streets. He was living a street life, but he wasn't literally in the streets. He came down here. He only dealt with very few people. He brought what he had from West Virginia, dropped it off, collected that money. Like I said, he might stay a night or two. And then he's back to West Virginia. So he's in and out of town, you know, like a thief in the night. Nobody really knew that Quis was in this lifestyle outside of the few individuals that he dealt with. So as I mentioned, he decides to step out one night, and he's in the club, he's having fun or what have you. He's not doing no flossing, you know, he's buying his drinks or whatever, but he's not bottle popping. He's not, you know, throwing money and all that stuff that people do in the clubs to bring attention to themselves. He's just chilling, a laid back dude. As I mentioned, Quis is about 6'4", 6'5", so, you know, he's going to stand out in most parties, clubs, or what have you that he attends. So, like I said, he's minding his business, whatever, having fun. Probably about 2:30, he leaves the club. He's going home. He goes straight home. Quis would often, whenever he was out, he was always alert. He's always watching to make sure that no one is following him. Well, Quis had a few drinks at night, so I guess his, you know, he wasn't as alert as he typically was or what have you. So Quis is coming home and he's watching. He's making sure that nobody's following him. He doesn't see anybody following him. Now, from where he was at, it was probably about a 15-minute commute. Wasn't that far. Quis gets out of his car. As he gets out of the car, he's going into the garage. He opens the garage. He's going inside. Next thing you know, a couple dudes jump out of the bushes on him. Out of nowhere. He didn't even see these dudes. Actually, it was 3 dudes. They all jump out of the bushes on him. They got masks on. They all got guns. One of them had like I don't know, I don't remember exactly what gun he told me that he had. It was, I want to say it was like a AK, or it was something like that. But it was definitely a heavy artillery that they had. Take him into the house. When they take him into the house, they grab a chair, put him in a chair, tie him up. Literally tie him up like you see on TV. Where's it at? Man, I don't know what y'all talking about, man. Where's what at? Where's it at, man? Get it out. Now, Quis is adamant that he doesn't have anything. So they go in his pockets. He only got a few hundred in his pocket. Nothing major. $600-700, I want to say. Nothing major. They know that Quis got something in his house. Now, the house that he was going to, when I say he maintained 2 residences, that house was actually his brother's house. His brother was big in the game just as well. So Quis would, him and his brother, they were in, I guess, cahoots together, whatever. But his brother was really, really the man, for real. They know something's in his house. His brother wasn't there at the time. Quis wasn't trying to give it up. I said, okay, we got something for you since you don't want to give it up. They go grab an iron. They take the iron, they plug it up. They allow the iron to get really, really hot. All along, they asking, I'm telling you, dog, you better tell us where it's at, man. You better tell us. Man, I don't know what y'all talking about, bro. I don't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is not even my house, man. I don't have anything. Man, we know your brother got it. Man, I don't know what my brother does, man. I don't got nothing to do with what my brother does. I don't have nothing. Okay, we're going to find out if you got something. They let the iron burn for about, 5-6 minutes. Heat up, rather. So they grab him, bring him over here, pull his pants down, man. They pull his pants down, take that hot iron. I guess they seen this on a movie or something. I don't know. They take that hot iron. Zzz, you just heard, Quis. I wasn't there, but I would imagine, because he's telling me the story, and he's like, oh, he's like Denzel, on Training Day. Oh, you shot me in the ass, son. Well, I guess that's how he felt at that time, man, because he said that iron was the worst pain that he ever felt. Better get it out, man. So they go to burn him again. All right. Sit him back in the chair. He can barely sit in the chair because they just burned him with an iron, man. All right, man. He tells them to go look in the garage or whatever. They go and look, at the location that he tells them that it's at. They pull out maybe about 5 or 6 pounds. 5 or 6 pounds, I believe. And it was marijuana. Now, while that's a good lick, because this was probably a good 12, 14, 15 years ago. So you can imagine, marijuana wasn't as plentiful as it is now. So I hear. And, they get about 6 of them. It's a little cash in there. It's $3,000 or $4,000. So they come back out. They not satisfied. Nah, we know it's more than this. Where's it at, man? Now, even though that seems like a lot to a lot of people, them goons, just because they was real life goons, when they came in, they wasn't looking for the marijuana. They looking for the hard stuff, pause though. You know what I mean? They want that real. Man, I don't know what you're talking about. They looking for bricks, man. You know what I mean? Now, if you're not familiar with bricks, because I am on YouTube, so I got to really watch what I say, Urban Dictionary, man, just look it up. What's a brick? So they looking for the hard stuff or whatever, and he's not trying to come up off of it. They grab that iron again. All right, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're going to burn you again. Man, I told you I don't know nothing. Burn him again. He's screaming or whatever. Man, I already told y'all, man. He said he's crying at this point. Man, I already told y'all, man, I don't got nothing else. I don't have anything else, bro. They not buying it. One of the dudes said, man, here, man, let's just go on and just kill him, man. Forget all this. Forget all the... Bro, I told you I don't got nothing, man. The dude takes the butt of the gun. Boom! Splits him. Splits him right above his eye. So now he got blood. He's already been crying. He splits him. There's blood all in his face or whatever. He was like, dog, I just knew I was going to die, man. I just knew that I was going to die. We not playing with you, man. Where's it at? I already told y'all, man, I don't got nothing else, man. I don't got nothing. twist to the story is the entire time that he's telling the people that he didn't have anything, the dudes are looking around the house because there's three of them. So you got one that's watching him, and you got the other two, they ransacking the house. They looking, they don't find nothing, but they know that something's there. I think they found like a little cash, a couple more $1,000, but they couldn't find in bricks because that's what they came for, in bricks. So they looking, they go upstairs. It's a 2-level house. They go upstairs. When they go upstairs, they make a discovery. When they go in the room, they look in the closet. Lo and behold, it's a little girl. Well, actually, it's a little boy that was about 6 years old, and Quis's girlfriend. They're in the closet. They've heard all the commotion go on. They was in the bed sleep. They heard all the commotion going on. So instead of coming out, putting themselves in a situation to see what was going on, they heard what was going on, and they went in the closet and hid. Now, one would think like, well, why weren't the police called? You know, it seemed like she would have went in and called the cops, you know, immediately. I don't know. I wasn't there. You know what I mean? So they find the girl. They come back out with the girl and the little boy. You ain't tell us nobody was here. You don't get it out, everybody's gonna die. Get it out. So one of the dudes that was upstairs, he was like, nah, man, here, I got this. He grabs the little boy. When he grabs the little boy, 6-year-old little boy, so he's not that big, he grabs him by his legs and acts like he's gonna toss him over the rail. So he's threatening him like that. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, man, I got one more thing and that's it. That's all I got. It's all I got in this whole house. It's to my name. This is what I got. He tells them to go look in the spot. They end up finding like half of a brick and some more cash. So at this point, they done got 6 pounds of marijuana. They done got a half a brick of the hard stuff and probably $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. It's a nice little lick. Now, I'm not saying that that's cool to go do to anyone, and I'm not saying that that's, you know, something that I condone. But even though it seems like a nice little lick, you got 3 people, and they know in their mind that it's more in that house. As I mentioned, they threatening to, do harm to the little boy or what have you. And for whatever reason, man, those guys that ran in that house, they end up letting him go, man. Now, when I say letting him go, they let him live, rather. They didn't do anything to the girl. They didn't do anything to the boy, you know, the child or what have you. But he was all the way messed up. I think what probably happened, they probably feared that, because it's always, you know, a semi-smart one in a group. He probably was thinking, man, she done already called the cops on us. Look how long we done been here. Y'all done put this man through 30 minutes of pure torture. So I guess they was figuring that, you know, she had already called the police. So they went on and got out of there. Now, when they got out of there, they were parked down the street. So they had already known where he lived at. They were parked down the street. They run to their car. They're gone. Like I said, this is 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. So the technology that, you know, that they have now, like people didn't really have Ring doorbells, and it wasn't, you know, cameras on every single corner or what have you. So they end up leaving. The police get there. When the police get there, he's messed around. I'm talking about he's all the way messed around. Actually, the ambulance gets there before the police gets there. So the ambulance comes or whatever. They got him. They take him to the hospital. He's messed up. I mean, I'm talking about he's severely messed up because they hit him with the gun, but they also beat him too. So his face, he showed me the pictures, man. His face was all, you couldn't even barely recognize it. His face was like all just messed around, man. Just imagine, man, somebody just torturing you for 30 minutes solid, 30 minutes straight. He's in the hospital or what have you. During this time while he's in the hospital, because he ended up having to stay in the hospital for a week, maybe even 2 weeks. So he's in the hospital this entire time. During the time that he's in the hospital, that initial night, the police, when they came, They looked inside of the house. Well, when they looked inside of the house, they seen a money counter. When they seen that money counter, it was like it sent out off a red flag. A money counter. Only type of people that have money counters is people that deal with large sums of cash. Typically, the street dudes, man, once you start to get that real money, you got money counters. You don't have time to sit there and count $200,000-$300,000 up. You just throw it in a money counter, even if it's not $200,000-$300,000, $60,000. You don't feel like doing all that. Here, man, throw it in this little machine and count it up. So when they see that, they begin to search and look around the house. They had probable cause because they seen a money counter. So they run into something else, and it's paraphernalia. So now they feel like, okay, we know what this is about. Because obviously when, his girlfriend was talking to the police, she's not going to tell them that what the people really took out of the house. So they're looking around the house. Next thing you know, they get a search warrant for the house. Because just because they're in the house, you can't necessarily just look everywhere. You see what I'm saying? Digging out boxes and tearing up the house, kind of like they did Diddy's house. You can't just do that. So they get a search warrant. They come in, tear the whole house up, bring the dogs. They end up finding 2 more than bricks and about 40 grand in cash. Excuse me, man, the wind's, kind of blowing. But they find 2 more bricks and they find 40 G's. That's what them goons, that's what they came for. They knew that it was in the house. The entire time, QUESS never gave it up. So you would think, you was gonna allow your girl and your son to be killed along with yourself over, some money? He was like, bro, I didn't even know it was in the house. He was like, I didn't even know. He said, I figured that it was something there. He said, but I didn't even know that was there. He said, I told them all my spots or whatever, where everything was at that I knew of. He was like, I really didn't have that much more on me because I done already sold what I had. So he legitimately didn't know where it was at. He gets out of the hospital, but before he gets out of the hospital, they serve him with the paperwork. They serve him with a warrant. Trafficking. They charge him with the 2 bricks and the 40,000. Take him to the interrogation room. They know that it's his brothers, or they figure that it's his brothers because the house is in his brother's name. And I guess his brother perhaps was already on their radar. They try to get him to roll on his brother. Man, I don't know what y'all talking about, man. I don't know what y'all talking about. Matter of fact, give me an attorney, man. I don't know nothing. They take him to the county jail. Gets to the county jail. That's where him and I became acquainted. We got cool, what have you. Kicked it all the time. Showed me all his paperwork, told me the story, what have you. He had videos. Cool dude, man. Laid back cat. So he tells me that he ends up seeing one of the dudes. One of the dudes, I guess he takes his mask off and thinking that because his face was messed up and bloody, I guess he felt as though he wouldn't have seen his face. So he said that he ended up seeing one of the dudes, but he didn't know him, and he didn't even recognize any of these dudes. Again, he's from West Virginia. He wasn't even from Kentucky. So he's recognizing one of the dudes or whatever. He's sitting in the county jail. He's in the county jail. His bond is so high that they won't allow him to, make bond. In Kentucky, now the reason I say that is Kentucky, their bond system is way different from a lot of other states. For instance, if you get caught up in virtually anywhere else, your bond is automatically 10% of whatever your bond is. So if you go somewhere and your bond's 100,000, well, it's going to take 10,000 to get out. Or you can go to a bail bondsman or something like that. Kentucky has none of that. If your bond is 100,000, that's just what your bond is going to be. There's no bail bondsman or anything like that here. So you got to get you a good attorney, go before the judge, and ask the judge to give you a 10% on your bond. And sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they don't. Oftentimes they won't do it initially. You'll probably have to sit in there for, a couple months just to get that bond reduction, depending on where you're from. The prosecution, they don't want his bond lowered. They're objecting to any sort of bond reduction for the simple fact that he's from out of state. He's a flight risk. His attorneys fight for him every time they go to court. They won't allow it. So he sits in the county jail and he goes through the entire process or what have you. So during this time, I get sent on up the river, man. You know what I'm saying? They send me up the river. So he's in the county jail, he's going through the process or what have you. The good thing that he had going in his favor is that he didn't have a criminal record. He had never been in trouble before. As I mentioned, he was an ex, basketball player. So even though, he was living that street life or whatever, a lot of people didn't know. And he was real low key with it. He's still sitting in county jail. And it's really, it's disgusting how they do you, man. Because the prosecution, it's kind of like they dictate what the judge is going to do. The judge will listen to, your attorney, and then they're going to listen to what the prosecution says. And, Your Honor, we strongly object to any sort of bond reduction due to the fact that Mr. Quis is not from this area. We feel as though he's a flight risk. We feel as though, he will not come back to court. These are the things that they say. And the judge will typically go with what the prosecution says. Not all the time. I've seen some judges, but typically, and this judge, oh man, he definitely wasn't trying to hear it. So he ends up getting his time. I think he ended up getting 8 or 9 years. And he ends up getting sent up the river just as well. He gets to prison. And, he's getting acquainted. He knows a couple people, what have you. So he's getting acquainted. He's getting used to the Kentucky prison system. It's kind of hard on him because he's never really been incarcerated before. Other than, that time that he was in the county jail. He had never been locked up before. Brother's looking out for him, sending him money. So he's doing okay in jail. He's able to get on the phone. But he starts to put 2 and 2 together, especially when he's in the county jail. Oftentimes when things happen, you think about things and you get to recollecting and just kind of, just hold on. This don't make sense. That don't make sense. First of all, how did anybody know where I lived at? Not too many people knew where I lived at. Now, it's not as though they followed me from the club. These dudes jumped in the bushes. This was already planned. So they knew that I wasn't at home. And they knew where my home was at least when I'm in Kentucky. He's thinking about it. And he gets to thinking, why didn't my girl just pick up her phone and call the police? I'm sure she heard all the yelling and things of that nature going on. Why didn't she call the cops? When she got a phone, all she had to do was pick her phone up, 911, whisper, hey, we got something going on. And the police would have been there expeditiously. So he's thinking about certain things. One day they call him out for a visit. He goes out for the visit. It's one of his good friends, but it's his girl's good friend just as well. He's talking to her. She's saying some things that just don't make sense. He determines in his mind that his girl set the whole play up. His girl set the whole play up because there was no possible way. There was no possible way that they would know where he lived at. He didn't know that for sure, but that's just what he was thinking. So, as time goes on, like I said, he's in prison at this point. He's on the basketball court one day. Everybody always wanted to pick him up on the squad, man, because he was a cold hooper, man. Even in his 20s, he was still good. He looks over. He's looking at a dude. He's like, I know it ain't the dude. Ain't no way. But he's looking at him and I know it ain't one of the dudes that got me on that night. So he's really looking at the dude, but he's trying not to, make it obvious that he's looking at him. But the more and more he looks at him, the more he determines that's the dude that took his mask off. Now, the dude that he's thinking or feels as though, contributed to the robbery or whatever, Apparently, he doesn't even know who Quis is at this point. I don't know if he was high that night. I don't know if he just forgot what the dude looked like, which I can't imagine how you could possibly forget what a person looks like. But he acts as though everything's all sweet. Quis lets a couple weeks go past. He's trying to see who the dude's with, who he hangs with or whatever. The dude's not really kicking it with a whole lot of people. The dude likes to come and play basketball or whatever. So he would often see him in the gym hooping, but they never really had any interaction, and the dude just act as though he didn't know who Quis was, as I mentioned. Quis was like, yeah, that's definitely him. I'm gonna get him. Now you gotta imagine, Quis had already been in the system. He had already been in the prison for, a little bit, so he got his little clique that he hangs with. It's always gonna be a clique when you're in prison, man. You can't just, in most cases, you can't just be in a prison to where it's just you and you by yourself. You know what I mean? You're gonna have they call it a car in Kentucky. Kentucky's not really heavily populated with prison gangs. You just kind of got, your set, your hood, wherever you come from or whatever. That's typically how it is in Kentucky. So, he got his people that he hang with, dudes that hoop, he works out or whatever. So, like I said, he got his car, and he's noticing that the dude ain't really, he's with a couple guys, but they not really anybody that's, packing any weight or anything like that on the yard. Quis is like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get him. He ain't forgot about nothing. Plus, they was in the same dorm just as well. He was just trying to figure out a way to get him, because nobody's trying to add more time on to their sentence while you're already incarcerated. Now, I've done videos before previously. One of the worst places in prison, one of the most dangerous places in prison to get caught up at is the shower. It's not good. Quis said, I'm gonna get him, in the shower or whatever. One night, dude's in the shower. Quis got his boots on. He's strapped. That's what they call it in prison, man. You get strapped, you got your shoes on, you ready. He got his prison gloves on. He don't want no marks or, no scratches, scrapes, blood or whatever on his, on his hands or what have you. He got a lock and a sock. He got two of them wrapped around his hands. You know what I mean? He stands outside. He's waiting on the dude to come out of the shower. Now, Quis had a car, but he didn't want them to get involved. He said, nah, man. Nah, y'all trying to go home to y'all's family. I got this. Man, you sure, man? We'll stomp him all the way out, man. Quis is like, nah, I got this, man. But what I do need y'all to do is just be the lookout. I need y'all to watch out. Dude's in the shower. He's thinking everything's cool. He comes out of the shower. So as he comes out of the shower, like he's still in the shower because it's a big shower. So the showers in prison, at this particular prison anyway, probably 10, 12 people can get in the shower, take a shower at once. So he's in the shower, and Quis is waiting right outside the shower. The only thing that's separating the two is the shower curtain. Dude turns the shower off. When he turns the shower off, Quis already knows, okay, this is the time. Well, you got to walk over towards the shower curtain, because when you walk over towards the shower curtain, that's where all the hooks are at, where you can hang your towel and your boxers or what have you, whatever you're going to put on when you get out of the shower. Then you walk back to your cell, or you walk back to your bed area or whatever, because like I said, it was a dorm. And you walk back to your area, and then that's when you get fully dressed. That's what most people do. Dude turned that water off, man. Quis slid in that shower on him. Massacre. I'm talking about, man, he beat him so bad with them locks and the sock. I'm talking about beating bad, man. You see what I'm saying? And he ended up turning the water back on or whatever, I guess, to try to get like all the blood and all that stuff. But the people was going to see that. There was no way that the people wouldn't see that. Beat him unconscious, man. He was trying to, I don't know if he was necessarily trying to kill him, but I know that it would appear that he was trying to kill him. I'm talking about, man, just the first the first connect, like the first swing, he connected on it. I ended up talking to Quis. So he's telling me these things. And he said, man, he just kept beating the dude, just kept beating him and beating him and beating him. His partners was looking out. Police can't hear you screaming. You see what I'm saying? You in the shower. The police is way, like, a separate section. Open dorm. Open dorm, it's probably 100 men in there and 1-2 police officers. So they walk around and they do their rounds. But they're not going to hear you screaming in the shower. Slid in on him. Like I said, beat him. Police ended up finding him. Airlifted him out of there. See, there's times to where people get beat so bad to where they got to airlift you. They're going to fly you via a helicopter. They're going to fly you to the nearest hospital. Infirmary wasn't going to get it. That's how bad he did this dude. He came out of the shower, grabbed his stuff, like his clothes and stuff that he had the blood and stuff on. This was calculated. So he had already gotten like extra clothes. Like if you know somebody that works in the property room, which here we call it R&D. If you know somebody that works there, man, you give them a couple stamps or whatever. Hey, man, I need an extra pair of pants. I need an extra pair of boots. I need an extra pair of, an extra shirt or whatever. And I got you. Give him a couple stamps or whatever. So this entire thing was calculated. He knew that by the showers, it was kind of like a blind spot. So they wouldn't have seen him go into the shower. He slid in, man, beat him so bad. They did an investigation. They went around. When they come around, you got to hold your hands out like this. Excuse my hands. I got super glue on my hands. But you got to hold your hands out. They check your knuckles. They make sure that, you don't have any blood on your clothes. They didn't know who did it. Of course, the yard in the penitentiary, man. Yeah, you got snitches, but nobody said nothing. A lot of people didn't even know that he was going to make his move other than the couple people that, that rock with him, his car. But obviously, they're not going to say nothing. Nobody ever said anything. They found the clothes, but they didn't know who they belonged to. Quis was smart, so he didn't even get the clothes that was his size. He made sure that the clothing was a totally different size, so that way when they did all their investigation, how you gonna pin this on me? I'm 6'4", I'm 6'5". I don't wear these size 32s. You know what I'm saying? 32 length pants. Like he had it all the way calculated. Threw the clothes away. Of course, they found the clothes in a bag or whatever, but they're not gonna go through forensics. They're not gonna bring in the FBI and nobody like that to do the forensics on the clothes to determine, if they find hair samples or DNA and all. They ain't doing all that. It's penitentiary, man. You know what I'm saying? You get it how you live, man. So he never got caught up doing that, man. He never ended up getting a write-up, investigated, or anything. He had an 8-9 year sentence. I want to say he had 8 years. It was 8 or 9 years. Again, in Kentucky, you do 20% of your time before you go up for parole. On an 8-year sentence, I believe you do like 19 months. You do 19 months, and you go up for parole. He did his 19 months. He did a couple programs that he was recommended to do. Came on home, man. They let him out. First time up on parole. This guy didn't have no criminal record. He should have got probation in the first place. But at any rate, they ended up giving him parole. And, he came home. I ran across him. We chopped it up a couple times. We talked or what have you. And that's how I know the ins and outs. That's how I know the intricacies of the story of what happened. Because he told me. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy because that dude, a prime example of what I spoke of earlier in the video. You can live in the streets as far as the street life. You can be doing your damage. You can be doing your dirt, whatever you want to call it. And then one day you say, you know what, man? I'm done with these streets. I'm not fooling with it anymore. Not sure if that's what the young man did. But Quis definitely didn't forget about that. First of all, he shouldn't have done it. Secondly, you shouldn't have taken your mask off. I don't know why people do that. Like on TV, man, the bank robber, he always pulls his mask up and wipes his face, or, you dummy, why'd you take your mask off? Just it's dumb stuff. But he definitely did it. And because he did that, he ended up getting severely beaten. I mean, A lock in a sock is like I wish I had a, you know what, I'm gonna start using props. A combination lock. And you put that bad boy in a sock and you wrap it around your hand and somebody hits you with it and he got two of them. Man, it's gonna hurt. Dude was a hooper. So being that he was a hooper, he could use his left hand and his right hand. Ambidextrous. You know what I mean? So when he's swinging with his left hand and he's connecting, it's hurting just as bad as when he's connecting with his right hand. I'm glad that I wasn't in that situation. Plus, I don't rob nobody anyway, so I wouldn't be in that particular situation. But yeah, Quis never forgot about that. And he was willing to get more time, which he didn't want more time, but about his revenge, he was willing to risk it all. So I asked him, I said, man, whatever happened to your girl, man? He was like, man, I broke it off with her. He's like, because she never told me that she actually did it. Now, his son that was up there that night, I didn't initially know. The mother, she wasn't the mother of the child. You see what I'm saying? So he was good about that, because just imagine you think that the mother of your child has something to do with you getting robbed. He said he broke it off with her and he found out more and more stuff, and he was almost positive that she had set the whole situation up. He said she ended up getting like 2 years in the Fed. She got caught up with some dude. I don't know exactly what the story is, but he said she ended up getting caught up and ended up having to serve 2 years in the federal penitentiary herself, man. Karma, I guess. I don't know, man. The crazy things that happen in these streets, man. Youngsters, man, out there in them streets, take heed to this story, man. Take heed. Don't think that can't happen to you. Don't think that you can't be coming home one night and, you know, you a little tipsy or what have you, and somebody won't pop out of the bushes on you because they see you out there getting it. They see you getting that money. Guess what? They want it. Ain't nobody really trying to hustle and grind and start from the bottom. Yeah, they say that in rap songs. But ain't nobody really trying to do that in real life out here on these streets. So they see you as an easy target. Guess what? They coming for you, man. Real Kens TV, man. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Shout out to Nate G 219, man. Y'all go check his prison channel out. Nate G 219. He got some real interesting content. It's prison content. He's out of Indiana, I believe. Y'all go check him out, man. Nate G 219, man. Tell him Ken sent you.